We're on week 3 of a heat wave in Ireland, going out for dinner tonight, starting with SPF 50. I don't recommend a lot of expensive products on my TikTok, but the Riemann's P20 SPF 50 has double the European standard for an SPF 50. It is by far the strongest face SPF on the market. I'm going to start with the Bella Mianta Creamy Concealer, the shade B05. Gently buff that in. That SPF under makeup is an absolute dream. That product, it's 10 out of 10. Not an ad, I wish it was. But it really is the best SPF I've ever used. I had a reaction to something I used. My skin is really red and irritated, so I'm going to use some of the Erborian CC cream. This is great if you have very flushed skin like I do. This obviously doesn't stay green, but it's Korean skincare, and I feel like their cool toned BB creams and CC creams are great for Irish skin. Then I've been liking this bronze and contour from e.l.f. This was like €5. Light medium, blends very easily, maybe a little bit hard to control, so I put a tiny bit and then try blend just my cheeks and my nose. And I always take whatever bronzer I use onto my neck because you want to link up those tones so it all kind of is one, rather than fake tan bronzer because they can be very contrasty. And then another e.l.f. product, Sparkling Rose. I've actually had this for years. I love the way I said no makeup, and now I look like I have a full face on. But this is a really nice kind of almost sunburnt color. So again, it's going to make that orange fake tan, orange bronzer just look a lot more like skin and like I'm wearing a lot less makeup. Then I'm actually going to use Rimmel Cappuccino lip liner, and I'm going to draw on my freckles, and then I'm going to add a few more. Again, this just makes your makeup look so much more natural, like your freckles are poking through. Make sure they're like distance apart and different shapes and different sizes. See people draw faux freckles here. As someone who's literally covered in freckles since they were a kid, I don't think I've ever got a freckle there. So just try keep to where the sun hits. So forehead, cheeks, nose. I'm gonna do a tiny bit of powder just to look a little bit less greasy. This is the Flormar translucent powder. This is like €8 maybe, I think, but really good. Leaves a little brightening white cast. Add a very thin layer of powder by knocking back most of it into the pan, and just put some powder anywhere I don't want there to be shine. So like around my nose, because that just looks kind of oily, and then anywhere I have breakouts or like I have a rash from my reaction. I'm gonna put some powder bronzer in my crease. This is Benefit Hoola, and it's a cooler tone for paler skin. Then for my lips, I'm just gonna do some Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. Okay, and then for a lip gloss slash balm, Boots Nipple Balm, the shiniest, most hydrating lip product. It's actually obviously for your nipples, but I use it for my lips. It's just pure lanolin. I used this when I was in Accutane. I used everything when I was in Accutane. Nothing came close to how much this hydrated my skin. It's amazing. Then I'm going to use a setting spray. Obviously this helps keep everything in place, but also when I have really harsh powder here and nothing here and it's really glowy, this just wets down the powder so it's not so severe. So sometimes I can notice people when they've applied powder under here, it's a very stark contrast in texture, and this just makes your powder look a bit more like skin. But that is it. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I tag all the products on my Instagram, so go follow me there. But that is it. So bye.